Today on Sagebrush Soul, we start the build of my mini bike with a headlight mount, and we're going to extend the handlebars for some light controls. The headlight probably seems like a weird place to start on a build, but it was the first thing that popped into my head, so here we go. I'd bought a headlight bucket and light for my Honda SL125 that didn't quite make the build, so I thought I'd hook the Mini up with some brilliant LED lighting. The forks on the Mini are too wide for the mounts that came with the bucket, so I decided to fabricate a mount to accept a 5-inch standard bucket. To make this work, I started with some 1-inch shaft collars. They were just a little small, so I hit them with a drum sander until they fit snug without crushing the fork tube. I was originally just going to weld a 16 gauge plate to the collars, but I decided some square tubing would be a better option, and I had some 1/2 inch I'd been tripping over, so I just went for it. I cut the square tube on a 45 and capped the end for a cleaner look and tacked it up. After I secured the top and bottom, I mocked up the bucket to see where I needed to put the vertical braces. Then I tacked them on. To secure the bucket mount, I cut down the brackets that came with it and clamped it on for a final fit. I didn't notice until after I shot this that my tack on the collar came loose. If you do this, make sure you get all the packing oil off these collars before welding. I took one final look to make sure it was all aligned before I welded everything solid. With the relocation of the headlight, the gap between the headlight and fender really bothered me, so I filled it in with a couple of LED off-roads that I had for another project. I utilized the original headlight mount and only had to trim this bolt to make them fit. Now, if you've been around the channel much, you know I like to name my projects. I'm stumped on this one, so leave a comment and let me know what the name should be, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and ring the bell to follow this build to the end. I wanted to use a regular motorcycle light switch to operate the lights on this bike, but these mini bike bars don't really leave enough space for the controls and the brake. I could have ordered a new set, but I didn't want to wait or spend unnecessary money, so I extended them with some steel tubing and a curtain rod. For strength, I had to fit the tube inside the handlebar. The first thing I did was grind the seam out of the inside. Then I sanded down the tubing until it slid into the handlebar. And then I marked it out to an additional 1.5 inches. This is where the scrap curtain rod came in. It happened to be the perfect size to make up the difference between the extension and the handlebar. After welding it on, I checked it for fit and it worked great. Except now the brake lever is too short. I anticipated that, and a brake light is in the plan, so I ordered a lever with a switch for a mini quad, and it was perfect. That's going to wrap up this part of the project, and in the next video we'll be making a Springer seat for the Mini. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kenny. This is Sagebrush Soul, and may the best of your past be the worst of your future.